Phoenix and Diamond are back. I can't decide if I'm going to sleep tonight or not, so we're going to read more Vermis. This is volume 2. It has a totally different... Well, it's supposed to be set in the same world, but it has a different story. Look at all those heads. Vermis, Mist and Mirrors. Okay. What is that? The canals of the bell echo?
Oh, the knells.
The knells of the bell echo across the corridors? What are the knells?
Knells are usually like a death knell is like the sound of something dying, or like the knell of a bell is like the sound of a bell ringing.
Oh, it's some kind of sound then, I guess.
Yes.
The mist
Basically,
engulfs
that's
everything. Yeah. Those glassy eyes that chase you wherever you go are none but your own. Ooh.
My cats are everywhere.
The Glass Purgatory. The Glass Purgatory is a place divided between two worlds, floating in an eternal limbo between reality and illusion. Woe to the souls who venture into this labyrinth halls, for they will be stripped of all that makes them themselves. Okay. Okay. In the deepest part of the purgatory, a cloaked figure lies between the cold stone walls. It rests contemplating the glass shard shattered on the floor. I have been listening to the whispers in the darkness. They preach about the true nature of our kin. They say dances without seas, the puppet made of mud and wood. In a macabre and endless dance, it stares at its reflection, prisoner of the illusion. I have torn my flesh looking for warmth for humanity, only to find this dark sludge.
Ew.
And yet for that brief... Huh.
If people don't know, I'm inspired by the main character of the second book of Vermis.
Yes. And yet for that brief instant, my eyes were mine alone. Our eyes are backward. That's what that says, backwards.
Ooh.
Vermis 2. And it's reflected upside down, mist and mirrors.
Nice. There's a big mirror motif, it feels like.
Yeah, I wonder. Gee, I wonder what this story is about. It's about mirrors and reflections. The Argyret? The undying sun. Cold on the sand. The shouting, the chatting, the clinking of coins, the songs of humanity. These are rare sounds to stumble across outside of Argyret. The lands beyond the desert rot in silence due to their deep and incurable wounds. In Argyret, on the contrary, life continues as usual. The living stay above the sands while the rest lie under them. The sheer vastness of the desert is what has kept the city isolated from the neighboring domains. Foreigners are the most uncommon sight in Argyret. The Lost Relics. The Great Desert was, long ago, the heart of the old world. No matter where one goes, they are sure to come across the vestiges of the colossal structures that used to populate its sands. Huh?
I had the hiccups.
Oh. Many of them still hidden under its dunes, forever guarding its treasures. The relics of the scorched land are the livelihood of many of its dwellers. These scavengers plunge into the bones of the old world, exploring them in search of something valuable. However, more often than not, the price they end up paying greatly exceeds that of the riches they find. The tomb robbers that roam throughout Argyret are, for the most part, individuals with nothing to lose. Neither fearing curses nor old gods, they risk their lives looking for measly chips of gold and silver. Our merchant refuses to buy the relic offered by a tomb robber. The shopkeeper insists that it was an offering to the dead son. When it was stolen from its rightful place, a curse fell upon it. The Wayfarer shamefully covers the purple blemishes that sully his hand and goes away without a word, letting the relic fall to the ground. Huh. Echoes in the sand. Ancient civilizations that once venerated, now long forgotten gods lay under the immensity of the desert. Periodically, the dunes shift to expose their carcasses to the undying sun, allowing the daring to delve into their entrails. Some of the sanctuaries that normally hide below the scorching sands are home to strange figures that exert a dark influence over those who dare to contemplate them. The Solar Crypt. Path of Gervek the Great. 6th Solstice. You cannot pick bones from this place. Interesting. Sanctuary of Silence. Dunes of Silver. 4th Solstice. You cannot pick bones from this place. Dead Sun Shrine. Argyret South. 3rd Solstice. What does this mean? I'm just curious. I'm just like, what does this all mean?
I don't know.
Plague House. Valley of the Wind. 1st Solstice. Yeah, I'm like completely lost on like what this is. Are we talking about places, I think? Then why are we talking about solstices? It's weird.
It could be what the solstices affect in those places, maybe.
Maybe. Tower Decay. Ketereth's Fingers. You cannot pick bones from this place. 8th Solstice. Maze of Ashes. Sea of Bones. 1st Solstice. Hidden Temple. Summits of Argyret. All solstices. You cannot pick bones from this place. Path of the Undying Sun. Fire Sun, Pale Sun. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm like so confused on what's going on right now. The Bone Hunter. Devotees of Gilak. The bones do not hide secrets. Despite not having tongues, they can tell tales, and even though they are hollow, they are full of power for those who know how to use them. The Bone Hunters are infamous for beheading their victims and offering their skull to Gilak. Decapitation is a common practice among the followers of the god, the most devout going as far as to offer their own heads to the cause. The Bone Hunters tend to be solitary and ruthless people, feared by the travelers and merchants that trek through the endless deserts of Argyret. Huh. Equipment of a Bone Hunter. Sword and dagger. Black iron armor. Gilak Fetish. A small idol made of wood or occasionally ivory carved of a coiled snake with the head of a woman. We remember that from the first book.
Yeah, and also the word fetish is being used to be like a holy thing.
Yeah.
And not to be like the weirdo bullshit that the internet likes to use that word for.
It's an object of fixation is what a fetish is.
Yes.
Yes. Which is why it's also used for like the sexual meaning too. Exploration fear. Various materials, containers, and tools commonly used during the exploration of ruins and temples. Crooked Fang. A fang from an emissary snake. Its venom enhances the user's strength and reflexes for a short period of time before rendering them unconscious. Yeah, we used that before.
Oh, hey, it's me.
Well, I don't think it's you, but they just have the similar equipment.
Yeah, it's similar equipments.
Even though all bone hunters share a common goal, they act in very different ways in order to please the dark desires of their god. Some of them could be seen as opportunistic bandits that, after robbing their victims, sacrifice their bodies to Galak, while others revel in the massacres they commit. Then there are those who rummage through sand-covered tombs for bones to pile on altars of the Coiled One. The hunters tend to not socialize among themselves, and some of them do not hesitate to kill whoever they come across without caring which god they serve, with the only exception being that they stand on Galak's holy ground.
Yeah.
Galak. The mere utterance of his... Huh?
There was a lot of mention of Galak with the angels.
Yeah, that's right. Maybe it's like
because they would behead themselves on a hill on a area for Galak.
Yeah, I wonder if it's kind of like where, you kind of have in the real world where people worship the same god, but then different regions will have different practices for how to worship that god.
Yeah, like different denominations.
Yeah, kind of like maybe the bone hunters are a different denomination than the angels.
Yeah.
Yeah. The mere utterance of his name still instills fear in many and devotion in a few. Old god of death and darkness with many titles, the two-headed snake and the vengeful one are but the most common ones. Galak was condemned by Marco and the Eternal Curse, thus sealing both their fates, since the devotees of the snake god wasted no time avenging their fallen god. Marco was beheaded and defiled, hence suffering the same fate as Galak. So that's, let's see. Where are they? So that's Marco, the Oracle. So who made the Green Grave? Gervek made the Green Grave. This guy. So not Marco.
Yeah. Yeah, because Marco's whole entire dealio was that he was defiled.
Uh-huh. When Galak was decapitated, such is the sorrow of his people that one of his devotees offered him her own head as a symbol of her eternal love. Their visage became that of her god for all eternity. The corpse of Galak was venerated, and his will was heard louder than ever before. During those dark times, the wrath of the cursed caused millions of heads to roll. Vengeance turned into pure rampant depravity. Even though the cult of Galak has dwindled over time, there are still followers of the twisted tyrant that seek to uncurse him. They roam the lands in search of an answer. Death always follows their steps.
Yeah.
The cold metal. In order to ensure the scorching temperature of Argaret, the desert dwellers don armors, helmets, and masks that ornaments made of black iron, a strange mineral that is always cold to the touch. Oh. Black iron was originally discovered in what is now known as the Pestilent Mines. Over the course of time, it has been used for weapon manufacturing, food preservation, and refrigeration. It is unusual to stumble across this mineral outside of Argaret, since the mines are no longer active and black iron is mainly exported to the desert. Vermis. The pursuing shadows, the despair of fleeing from the unseen. A path of bones and ashes. Alone the Wayfarer rests next to a campfire, the faint warmth of the embers soothing his restless bones. He tries to cover his eyes, but his tormented mind does not allow him to. So long has he been wandering the sand that he remembers not his past. He meanders from place to place, plundering tombs and snatching the life out of those who dare to impersonate him? Impersonate him, offering them to his insatiable god. He cannot recall when it all started, at what moment the hunter became the hunted. Just for brief moments does his burden lighten, and times in which he forgets about the shadows. He never stops for too long, afraid of them catching up to him. He sleeps for short periods and walks all day. His faith in Galak allows him to face his enemies without fear. However, he cannot help but shiver whenever he thinks of what stalks him from behind. They plague his nightmares, allowing him to catch brief glimpses of their faces. Sometimes they just look eerily familiar, other times downright monstrous. You see shadows, don't you?
Yeah, I do. Christ.
So we've got like 6 portraits here, but they don't have descriptions like you would see in like the original book. Those unsettling and twisted visages hidden in the shadows terrorize him, yet he has no memory of seeing any of them outside of his dreams. His imagination molds those abominations at its whim, turning what he already fears the most into something impossible to confront. His mind envisions the reverend shedding the flesh from his bones, tearing his head from his torso with their foul claws. The next day, after a long journey walking through the desert, the Wayfarer spots the distance a large stone structure partially buried in the sand. At its entrance lies resting a figure shrouded in tattered cloak. As the wanderer approaches, the man tries to pick himself up with difficulty. He can barely stand on his feet. So I'm assuming the main character here is called the Wayfarer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. The Carrier of the Eye. The stranger moves away from the wall.
It is I, the Wayfarer.
It is I, the Wayfarer. The stranger moves away from the wall and slowly approaches the Wayfarer, limping. He seems shaken. He unsuccessfully tries to hide his right arm within his cloak, it is completely petrified. When he pulls out a shiny eye-shaped trinket for the Wayfarer to see. I know what thou art. I know of thy kin. If thou art to behead me, I plead thee to hear me first. This relic opens a gate to unfathomable treasures, riches far beyond what thou could see in thy whole life. But I and I alone know how to cross said gate. If thou forgive my life, I swear to share the wealth with thee once I discover the exact location. Chance of obtaining half-petrified skull. Wait. Does that mean chance of killing him and taking his skull? That's sad. Yeah, so I'm assuming he thinks we're one of the bone hunters?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too.
The sage-faced beast. A strange smell emanates from within beyond the gateway, a mix of blood and brimstone. The Wayfarer proceeds cautiously into the structure. The light coming from outside illuminates the floor ahead faintly. In no time, the Wayfarer stumbles across the huge beast lying on the floor. The creature lies dead in a puddle of black blood with a bronze sword sticking out of its side. Near the creature rests a stone crown. The Wayfarer draws near to examine it, but he immediately notices just how heavy it is. Next, he approaches the head of the beast, and without hesitation proceeds to gouge out its eyes with a dagger, pocketing them thereafter. After the inspection...
Oh, man.
After inspecting the sword up close, the Wayfarer realizes that it has solidified inside the corpse of the creature. The blood of the beast has reached within the bronze after coming in contact with it, forming a stony scab around the wound. After pulling on a couple of times, the sword emerges intact, save for the part of it that resided within the beast, which has acquired a porous texture and a dark tinge, a bronze sword.
So I'm guessing that beast petrified the arm.
The other guy, and half his face too.
Yeah.
As the Wayfarer plunges deeper into the entrails of the temple, the solemn visages of the stony faces seem to follow him no matter where he goes. He warily handles the eye-shaped relic as he manages his way forward, pondering the words of the stranger, wondering if he spoke the truth or if it was all a ruse to save his hide. Whispers in the darkness. After many hours roaming through the desolated temple, the Wayfarer starts hearing murmurs in the distance. With his paranoia only growing as he marches on deeper and deeper, he considers giving up and looking for a way out. Excuse me. Afraid the shadows could have followed him all the way here. However, at that moment, an archway distant from the rest catches his eyes. Vermis, the Goblin Queen. The self-proclaimed
We encountered the Goblin Princess who was dead.
Yeah, in the last book. The Goblin Queen, the self-proclaimed Queen of the Goblins, in years past consorts to the last king of the Great Citadel. She orchestrated the murder of her husband and fled into the woods accompanied by her personal guard. There she established her own kingdom and erected a castle over the bones of scrawny creatures that fearfully followed her every command. The queen gave birth to two daughters too, a beautiful girl of argent locks and jade skin, and a hideous abomination, a punishment for her sins. She chained her second child in the depths of the well like she was no more than a beast, keeping her fed with the flesh of her serfs. Wait, maybe I'm jumping to conclusions here.
What do you mean?
Let me find it.
Are you thinking that the Goblin Princess that the others were serving was the
Yeah, this is the hideous princess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the other one that's dead was probably someone else, like
the pretty princess, because there's two princesses. There's like the hideous princess and the pretty princess.
Yeah.
The
one
voice
got pretty privileged while the other got ugly.
Yeah.
Ugly.
She got petrification powers though. That's what we're assuming that's what is being talked about.
Yeah.
The voice of the silent, the sword of the innocent. Amid the spilled blood, the horror, and the depravity, a beautiful and gentle flower blossomed. The princess expressed genuine devotion toward the creatures she grew up with, awakening new feelings of kindness and love among those surrounding her. The hope for a better future radiated shining in front of the servants of the queen. Eventually, the princess led a rebellion that ended her mother's life. The queen was thrown into the maws of the beast of her own blood. After the revolt...
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the pretty princess fucked over the queen. And was like, no, fuck off, dumbass. And yeeted her at her sister.
Yeah. After the revolt, the Green Sun Kingdom rose from the ashes of the queen, led by the princess and her faithful knights. They swore that under their rule, not a single drop of goblin blood would ever be spilled again. The Goblin Princess. Once on the other side of the threshold, the Wayfarer finds himself in a pillar-filled room that what before were incomprehensible murmurs turned into a weird melody that echoes among the columns. Death in the Looking Glass. The glass of 100 gazes. All the skeletons here present share a disturbing detail. Even though their skin rotted away from their bones long ago, they all retain their eyes, for they have crystallized. In their sockets they glint, immaculate, giving their owners an unnerving, lifelike appearance. A large mirror stands amid the bony remains. The skeletons rest at the feet of the pillars. The melody ends abruptly, while the Wayfarer observes the eerie scene. Startled, the Wayfarer swiftly unsheaths his sword before the mirror. He has seen many things during the course of his travels, but such a flawless reflection of his own self was not one of them. Quickly realizing the true nature of the figure that stands in front of him, the Wayfarer approaches the mirror to inspect it up close. The Pale Sun Knight. Some old bones clad in ornate armor covered with icons of the undying sun. The needle-like rusty sunbeams make it impossible to remove any of the armor's pieces. The warrior supports itself on an unusual-looking blade with no sign of wear in the torchlight. The sword shimmers with an intense golden-brown sheen. Blade of Solace?
Yeah.
Blade of Solace.
Yeah. Solace is a strange word because, like, people think it's like solace or some other thing, and it's like, no, it's solace.
Yeah. The eyes of a stranger. The Wayfarer contemplates the unfamiliar face. Tired, worried eyes stare back at him. Mixed feelings sprout inside him. He feels comforted yet alone, for he cannot remember the last time he looked at the face of someone he could trust. Is this the visage of death or of devotion? He thinks as he vividly recalls all the times he snuffed out the life of a fellow man. His pondering is then interrupted when he notices something unusual. I'm gonna pause really quick. Okay.
Yeah.
In the reflection, a huge doorway leading to a long corridor looms over him. It stands a few steps behind him. Stunned, the Wayfarer turns around, only to confirm that there is nothing there but the dark forest of pillars stretching as far as the eye can see. And yet when he looks in the mirror's image once more, the gate is still there. Intrigued, he starts walking backwards slowly while keeping his eyes on the glass. Soon enough, he is being engulfed by the walls of that mysterious hallway. Only those who observe the world with eyes of glass will find their way into the purgatory, entering the glass purgatory, so watching the mirror and walking backwards into it.
Okay.
The glass threshold. Deeper, the Wayfarer sinks into the inanimate reflection, not breaking visual contact with the glass for a moment. However, before
were you trying to say enigmatic?
Enigmatic, thank you.
No problem. My internet shat for a minute, and I was just like, "Wait, Phoenix is having trouble."
However, before long, he thinks he can hear a murmur behind him. He turns his head to find only the emptiness of the hallway, illuminated by the quivering light of his torch. The damp air glitters like diamond dust, creating an alluring, otherworldly ambience. When he turns towards the mirror once again, he finds himself staring at a stone wall instead. The doorway is nowhere to be found.
When you said the words diamond dust, I was just like, oh, hey, that's my username.
Hey, that's your username. Yeah. The Wayfarer reaches for the wall with his hand and nervously feels it, making sure it is not an illusion. While he does so, he notices a brick unlike the rest, for it displays a strange symbol he has never seen before. Producing a papyrus sheet, the Wayfarer creates a rubbing of the figure using a piece of charcoal. Gervek the Great. Long ago, a giant roamed the world alongside man. He was venerated as a god since his nature did not strive away from divinity. He protected humans as if they were his own flesh, and many titans found death upon his colossal longsword. For years he slept atop mountains and deep valleys as beds, lullabied by the birds, tucked in by the silvery mist. His blade rests still to this day on summits high, waiting for someone worthy of wielding its greatness. A big ass sword.
I don't know if we'll be able to do that.
No, we're not big enough.
No, we're not. We're not that massive. We're not a giant. Or no, we're not a Goliath.
The colossal thrones. The Wayfarer pushes forward until he arrives in a massive chamber. Excuse me.
Oh no.
Where 5 paths converge under the gaze of 5 gargantuan glass-faced stone effigies, sitting on thrones. In the center of the room, which is reflected in all 5 of their faces, rests an eerie statue under a pillar of light. Intimidated by the eldritch scene, the Wayfarer slowly descends the stairs and carefully approaches the figure. The Sphinx. Oh hey, we got a curse icon right here.
Oh shit.
Light pours over the face of the Sphinx. A contoured grin unveils before the Wayfarer. A ghastly aura envelops the stone beast. Stopping to examine the unnerving statue, the Wayfarer is fast to realize that its left eye greatly resembles the relic he possesses, and that where its right eye should be, only a hollow is. He reaches down into his pocket.
Oh damn.
The Wayfarer fits the relic into the statue's eye socket. After a few seconds, the relic starts sinking further into the cavity, a perfect fit. At that moment, the Wayfarer's right eye begins trembling. He panics but can do nothing as his eye becomes loose and falls to the floor. He collapses amid screams of agony. Oh, Jesus Christ. Well,
No.
there goes your eye that you didn't have.
Yeah, there goes my eye.
After a while, the piercing pain resides and the wound stops bleeding. It is then that the Wayfarer noticed that if he covers his left eye, he can see through the eye of the Sphinx. He sees himself with a hand over his eye. That's not helpful at all.
Like if you're talking about the human behind me, yeah, they still have the eye. It just doesn't work properly.
Yeah, but also the Sphinx doesn't move, so like I don't see how that's helpful.
Yeah, I was just talking about the eye because you mentioned the eye that I possibly don't have.
Excuse me. The secret stairway, a road to the unknown. The floor trembles, and before long, the central platform starts rotating. Dust and small debris rain down from the vault above. The stairs turn along the floor, detaching from the doors. The movement stops when one of them reaches the feet of the middle throne, thus unveiling a new pathway.
Ooh.
Dwellers of the
Wait.
Purgatory. Say what?
I was just like, oh hey, those are very fucking ugly.
Yeah. Creatures that crawl among the reflections of the labyrinth. The Red King. The Red King is an entity that hides behind a mirror's image. In the deepest corner of the nauseating red nest, a foul place riddled with disease and putrefaction? Putrefaction?
Let me see the word. Putrefaction.
Putrefaction. Lurks the most twisted of kings. He abandoned his human carcass long ago, adopting a new form to reign over his very own hell. The sting of a bastard of the Red King carries white hives, a fate worse than death. So we've got like some symbols here, and then of course we have the white hives of affliction at the end. Looks like cracked open skull, mushrooms, I don't know what those are, but then there's the white hive symbol.
Yeah.
Flying effigy. The flying effigies patrol the purgatory without rest. Strange creatures carefully sculpted in stone decorate the walls of the purgatory. If a mirror is shattered, these figures awake and tear themselves off their resting places to give chase to the heretic. Their shining gem-like eyes are able to emit a petrifying light ray. Those who manage to evade their gaze can still be paralyzed by their venomous tail. I think that's petrification.
Yeah, it could be.
Zurich. Zurich is the sovereign of the glass hand castle, which hides within a mirror. What started as a prison ended up becoming a comfort home for the vain wizard, since he is always greeted by his majestic figure no matter where he looks. Lost in his delirium, he rules over his hundreds of loyal reflections who quiver under his might. So I think it's slumber right there.
Yeah, it looks like it.
I don't know what the other symbols mean though.
I think they showed them in the first book.
These ones?
I thought they did.
I don't remember seeing them.
Unless
like
I'm
there's the face ones, but I don't remember seeing the other ones.
Oh, okay.
Living cage. The living cages are torture devices designed to punish those who intrude into the purgatory. Rusting iron behemoths covered with spikes and blades. They remain inert until a prisoner is locked up within them. The mouths of the living cages are open at all times, offering a view of their interiors in order to intimidate those who oppose them with the pained expressions of their captives. Glass Hand Castle. Cellar Daughter. Monstrous creatures that inhabit the deepest parts of the purgatory. Concealed in a permanent penumbra, these abominations patiently wait in their nests for their next victims. The closer one is to the Cellar Daughter, the thicker the darkness grows. They are capable of intimidating the cry of an infant in order to lure or unsettle their prey. Only the toll of the bell can drive these creatures away, and only a blessed blade can give them death. Got the mushroom icon and that other one.
Yeah.
Lord of Worms. In the Chamber of the Silent Blades, the Lord of Worms resides. The Lord of Worms is a being that obtained a humanoid body and mind of its own after creatures of wriggling and feeding on corpses. Within the chamber, there are only ghosts and rot. Nonetheless, the Lord of Worms rose to reign over them. The Guardians of the Glass. Scepter and sword of the primordial glass and the heart of the purgatory. The conjoined witch. The scepter of the primordial glass is a being created by the purgatory to protect its heart. The putrid amalgam holds a vast knowledge in many fields of magic, for it possesses the collective intellect of the bodies that form it. It remains dormant in the glass nest, contemplating the primordial glass. The conjoined warrior. The sword of the primordial glass is a being created by the purgatory to protect its heart, a creature that has molded out of the rotten carcasses of the most skilled and powerful warriors to lay dead within the purgatory. The conjoined warrior is an opponent like no other, unstoppable and with devastating strength. It was trusted with the mission of hunting down anyone who dared enter the heart of the purgatory.
Oh, damn.
The Wayfarer sets foot in a strange place filled with mirrors. Here, the cadaverous walls draw undulant roots that frame the pieces of glass. He places his hand against one of the walls to feel the cold stone as he advances, his fingers tracing the serpentine recesses in the damp, rough wall. The Wayfarer halts when his hand encounters a smooth surface of one of the mirrors. He turns his head and observes it carefully. The Whispering Fountain. The Wayfarer stares at his reflection, examining the details of his helm, trying to find his gaze through the black iron to no avail. Feeling that the warrior's image is distorted, he reaches toward it with his hand once more. As soon as his hand touches the glass, the surface starts rippling. All of a sudden, he realizes that he is on his knees in front of the basin of a massive fountain.
Oh, that fountain looks so pretty, though.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of something from Amnesia.
Yeah, it also kind of reminds me from, tiny little fun fact about Daimon here. I have actually been to Rome, and I've seen a fountain that is very vaguely similar to this because it had a beautiful woman. And people would... There was a type of ritual for, like, tossing a coin over one of your shoulders.
Oh, okay.
To make a wish at that fountain. And, like, people would kind of follow that ritual, whatever, like, you know, making a wish for something that they wanted. Whether it be, like, true love or, like, something like prosperity in their life and whatnot. Like, the fountain reminded me of that.
Yeah. A dim light of unknown origin showers over a cloaked statue as it pours an unending stream of water with a tempting and relaxing sound. Allured by the promise of fresh water, the Wayfarer lets himself sink shoulder deep into the dark nectar. Lost in thought while glancing at the wavy reflections, he feels revitalized, his whole body loosening up in a rare moment of peace. However, he soon discerns a small, shiny object lying at the bottom of the basin. Approaching it, the Wayfarer ends up in the deeper part of the fountain. He dives in. A smooth gray hand grabs the Wayfarer's wrist. A voice echoes in his head. "To whom belongs thy flesh?" The Wayfarer struggles against the woman's grasp for a few seconds to no avail. He panics, for he's quickly running out of air. He gurgles, "Galak!" A cloud of bubbles escape his mouth. She eases her grip. The water's surface breaks and the Wayfarer gasps for air. He swims for a fountain's edge as he recovers from the shock. The Black Water Devourer, the Sunken Amulet, and the Shape-Shifting Beast. The water splash behind the Wayfarer. He turns around, paralyzed with terror, when he sees the head of a huge snake lurking out of the murky depths. Its lifeless, predatory eyes are fixed on the Wayfarer as its maw unhinge, releasing a terrible hiss and a nauseating stench. Fighting against his fear, the Wayfarer stares back at the monster. He tries to reach for his sword, but the creature immediately notices and breaks the standoff, lunging over him like a coiled cascade of fangs and scales. Chance of obtaining monstrous bones, or chance of attaining shiny amulet. Ooh, shiny amulet.
Shiny.
And Vermis. The water turns red as the body of the beast sinks. A couple seconds pass before the Wayfarer notices that, before its death, the monster took his left arm with it. Oh god. Clutching the wound, the Wayfarer realizes just how hopeless his situation is. Blood just keeps pouring out of the stump. "I will not leave this place alive. Galak, have mercy on this poor servant," he muses. The Wayfarer submerges in the water to alleviate the throbbing pain. The sound of the water helps calm his restless mind, but they are soon eclipsed by a strange distant sound. A bell resounds in the dark. Knells in the haze. The toll grows louder. They are almost deafening. Suddenly a mist engulfs everything, and the Wayfarer finds himself standing in front of a fogged-up mirror, the same one he touched before appearing at the fountain. A tinging sensation makes him realize that his left arm has returned, as if nothing had happened. Oh boy.
Oh boy, oh man. That's a big mirror.
The Wayfarer is stunned. The feeling of the air against his torn flesh and the warmth of the blood on his clothes are still fresh in his mind. He is quick to check his right eye is back, but he only finds the hole left by the Sphinx's devilry. When he looks at his right hand, hoping to find it freed from the curse, however, he noticed that the mauve has only grown since last time he saw it. That sucks.
Oh shit. Oh, well. Well, I'm fine.
Eyes in the murk. Endless corridors full of foggy mirrors as far as the eye can see. The Wayfarer marches among the knells, breaking through the mist. As he ventures into the unknown, he exchanges glances with the innumerable reflections clouded by the dew. The Wayfarer sees far more than his own image in them. He sees things that make him shiver and quicken his pace.
Oh shit.
The Bodak? A withered old man, nothing but skin and bones. He is missing his left arm and his jaw is dislocated. I have no idea. The
Shibaler?
No idea. Old English words are stupid. The old English font
words make me cry.
Well, the old English font is dumb. It's hard to read. A knight bearing a sword and a shield blazoned with the image of Galak. The bones. A skeleton wearing an absurd hat, also missing his left arm.
Oh, the Shibaler could also be Chevalier.
Oh, he died. Oh, there's way more here. The torso. The Wayfarer's body cleaved in half near the waist. It stands up straight, immobile. The wound. The Wayfarer missing his left arm and clutching the stump. The cursed one. A worm-eaten being of rotten purple flesh. He wobbles slightly, barely standing up. The grin. The Wayfarer bearing a wide, blissful smile devoid of malice. The marionette. A puppet made of bones and scraps of an armor that the Wayfarer recognizes as his own. The petrified one. The Wayfarer turned into stone. Pain marks his barely recognizable face.
Oh shit.
The other bones.
They're all iterations of me.
Yeah. The other bones. A skeleton wearing an odd-looking hood, also missing its left arm. The twisted visage. The disfigured and disproportionate semblance of the Wayfarer. It moves in an inhuman way. The door. A doorway leading to the darkness. There is some rumble on the other side of it. The ceremony. The Wayfarer dressed in ceremonial clothes, face painted white. It all looks eerily familiar. The landscape. A windmill surrounded by greenery under a cloudy sky. The affliction. A white hive's victim. His wax-like skin is riddled with holes. Insects keep sprouting out of them.
Oh, good God. Trypophobia warning for those who have that.
Yeah. No kidding. The creeping shadow. Some words here. The lost. Oh boy.
Oh boy.
I cannot read that with the distressing and being backwards. I cannot tell what that word is.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, that's hard for me to see.
The Wayfarer bears an unsheathing of the sword behind him. When he turns around, he finds himself face to face with a shadow emerging out of a mirror. Raising its sword against him, blocking the strike with his own blade, the Wayfarer experiences the overwhelming strength of his rival. The shadows, they have found me, he thinks as he tries to deflect the shade's sword. Even though the shadows have always been his greatest fear, the Wayfarer forces himself to keep looking at the sinister wraith. For an instant, his gaze meets its two dark pearls filled with pure terror. The Wayfarer engages in a fierce duel with the shadow. It mimics all of his movements almost perfectly. Fatigue is taking its toll on the Wayfarer's attacks.
Oh, God.
Gathering the last of his strength, the Wayfarer delivers a powerful slash. Silence dawns upon the hallway, broken only by a metallic sound as the fiend's helmet hits the stone floor, and once more when its inert body drops with its sword. The Wayfarer stands motionless, panting and gasping for air. Ending the Shadow's life has provided him with immense relief. He feels like he can finally face his fears. After a few seconds, the Wayfarer falls to his knees, exhausted. The Bleeding Shadow. A sinister reflection. The shadow drops to its knees in front of the Wayfarer in the same manner. The Wayfarer occasionally wondered if those chasing figures that tormented him were nothing more than deliriums. Though, having executed one of them now, he has been able to disprove one of his preoccupations. Chance of obtaining bones of a stranger.
Oh, shit.
The Looping Hallway. Fun. Reaching the end of the corridor, the Wayfarer sets foot in a circular chamber with a small room in its center. He peeks inside the second room only to find it empty. At that very moment, a whistle can be heard behind him. He turns around only to find himself in an already familiar situation. The path behind him has vanished. Oh, excuse me. Frustrated, the Wayfarer circles around the room, checking the outer walls for a way out. After a while, a small flash of light startles him as he passes in front of the entrance to the inner room. The room with a whistle. The Wayfarer peeks inside the room once more, but unlike before, he now finds that the room is square and has a small mirror hanging on it, its far side. It was his torch reflected in said mirror that made him jump. As he walks in, warily staring at the mirror, his sabaton kicks something small and metallic that rolls to the middle of the room. He takes a few steps forward and crouches to examine the object. It is a weird-looking whistle. After brushing the dust off it, the Wayfarer finds on an inscription. Whistle and I shall come to thee. The whistle is in poor condition and unusually cold to the touch. Chance of obtaining ominous whistle.
Ooh.
So, curse, and I forget what that one is with the big mouth open. Is that insanity?
Insanity.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of an Aztec death whistle, if you know what that is.
I think I've heard of it, but I can't remember what it looks like.
It can sometimes look like a person screaming, and what it was used for was to make an extremely loud noise, and they're terrifyingly loud.
Gotcha.
Like, if you blow into one, it sounds like a fucking scream.
Gotcha. With the first blowing, the birds became quiet. With the second, the dogs barked. With the third, the whistling turned into a scream that made him shiver. The peasant did not believe in ghost stories, but such was the dread that the whistle made him feel that he buried it so it could not be used again. The days went by, but the strange inscription would not abandon his thoughts. He had the feeling that something really was after him. Since the day he blew that whistle, he would wake up drenched in sweat every night. Terrible nightmares deprived him of his rest. During a stormy, moonless night, the peasant was visited. Something knocked at his door, and the squall died down. It knocked again, and the dogs barked. It knocked a third time. "Who is there?" he quavered. After a brief silence, a loud whistle froze his blood. Damn. Beyond the sea of sand. After going around the room one more time, light is suddenly poured out of the doorway. The Wayfarer peeks through it and finds a stairway leading up. Tentatively, he takes a few steps up the stairs, and then he feels a gentle breeze against his cheeks. He gasps, and fresh air cleanses his lungs. The Wayfarer is dumbfounded. He climbs the stairs as fast as he can, the breeze grows stronger, and the light gets brighter. Bliss and relief wash over him when he starts hearing birdsong not too far away. Finally reaching the top, the Wayfarer marvels before the vast and unfamiliar expanse. Let's see, Vermis. The Wayfarer stands sky high atop the balcony of a colossal, dilapidated castle. Leaning out of the edge, he contemplates a lush sea of trees extended beyond the horizon. His relief quickly turns back into distress in the view of an unfamiliar panorama. Such greenery can only mean that he is far from his homeland. Those look like the little statues with the hair, right?
Yeah. Oh god, I'm trying to remember what they're called. They were like waypoints for like other travelers to see if it was safe.
Yeah, these guys, the vagrant crowns.
Yeah.
Vagrant's crown.
Yeah, like you would tie like a part of your hair to the waypoint to tell if it was safe or not.
Yeah. The Wayfarer roams through the forgotten walls in silence, only accompanied by the whistles of the wind between the stones. After a while, the calmness of that begone place starts to comfort his tortured soul. Optimistic thoughts across his mind, thoughts about a new beginning, about a different life, and about amending the weight of his violent actions. However, as time goes by, the Wayfarer realizes there is no way out of the balcony. The castle's wall has no doors, and none of its windows are within reach. Climbing it seems impractical. Impractical?
Impractical. Let me see the word.
It has an able at the end.
Impracticable. Impracticable?
Yeah. And even more so would be descending the balcony's wall. Defeated, the Wayfarer aimlessly meanders its stony prison. That night, sheltered under a stone arch on that balcony, the Wayfarer gazed at the starry night sky for the first and last time. That night, the Wayfarer had no dreams at all. The first dawn. A very familiar and violent racket awakens the Wayfarer. The clashing of swords can be heard in the distance. He stands up and starts to look for the source of the noise. He follows it until he stands in front of the doorway that led him out of the glass purgatory. Peeking inside, he immediately realizes that the stairway has changed shape, for it now coils down into the castle. The Wayfarer hastily descends the stairs. The sounds of battle grow nearer. When he finally reaches the end of the stairway, a huge and grotesque severed head rolls to his feet. Silence prevails. The Wayfarer stares as the light in the eyes of the creature snuffs out. That wasn't me. What happened? The last stroke. The imposing body of the creature stands headless, completely still, like a macabre statue. The knight, exhausted, drops her longsword on the floor. A loud clang, and after failing to stand up, she too collapses. The Ogre Slayer. The knight, although visibly wounded, tries to rise to her feet again, using her sword as support. As soon as she hears the Wayfarer's steps, she speaks with a soft yet firm voice while she tries to hide her obvious exhaustion and grave wounds. "Who goes there? If what thou art looking for is dead, then fear not and approach. I am far from defeated. Thou can go search for thy precious carrion somewhere else. I have not reached this accursed place and given death to this wretched beast to end like this. Whatever thou art, Chance of obtaining Ogre Skull."
Oh boy.
Lots of skulls. And we're at an hour, so we're going to end this here, and we will be back with the second part.
Yeah, I gotta be right back for a second.
Alrighty.